Amazing. Good morning.
Good morning.
How you doing?
Yeah, good, thank you. Got the
Okay.
cuppa.
What have you got today?
What have I got?
Yeah. Is it coffee?
Yeah, coffee. Yeah, I'm not a big tea drinker.
Oh, my. Yeah, vodka's doing well for me. No, I'm joking. It's coffee.
Coffee with the brandy in it. No, no, we haven't got to that point yet. I know there's a lot more drinking apparently going on during lockdown, but I haven't started sort of before 5 o'clock yet.
I was going to say, apparently not. So a lot of people are drinking non-alcoholic solutions as well. So yeah, I saw a drinks journalist sort of talk about what the figures really are. Although saying that, I did see a woman come out of our supermarket with like a trolley full of booze a couple of weekends back, thinking essential, no judgment, but I was laughing, going, I hope that's a really good party.
Oh my goodness, yeah. Well, one of the posts that Lynn posts, and Lynn's actually the branding expert who's going to be joining us next week, and I think it was from Waitrose, and it was all the different sales, and it was something like 500% increase in sort of gym
Yeah.
kits and things like that, but 175% increase in tequila.
Oh, that's hard stuff.
Which was really bizarre. It's like, what are people doing?
Yeah.
Unless, just forego the wine and the beer, and let's just hit the hard stuff.
The hard liquor. Oh my word. No, it's true. The sales have gone up. You are right. But yeah, I think there is some balance of non-alcoholic like booze as well. So fingers crossed it's not as bad. We'll find out. But yeah, I just today we thought we would talk. We'd have had a chat before. We were just chatting about different leadership styles. And what we've seen across different countries, and actually how, I don't know about you, but on Monday I felt just a little bit deflated after hearing all of the news and the announcements, and really looking at what leadership means. And I've been looking at this over a good couple of years now, as to, especially from a PR function role, you're looking at strategy, you're looking at leadership, you're looking at more ethical business behavior. And it really stirred up this question as to what people actually think a leader is. And I've seen this time and time again. You've got people that think a leader is somebody who can just lead the way, and they have lots of followers, and they tell people what to do. And then you have the other camp that is very much focused on looking after the people that they're serving. And you can really see that across different leadership styles. And I just thought that particularly at the moment, we're being asked to make a lot of decisions which, just do what's in our best judgment. I think that's what really came across. And what sort of concerned me was that there's not a lot of responsibility there. I didn't feel that we weren't given any clear guidelines. And my view is that you can only work with the information that you have at the time, and do work in the best possible way to make sure that what the common denominator is how is this going to impact, what are the pros or cons. And I just thought, Karen, you and I have talked about this so often. It's like, we're in business, we're often having to be our own leaders and do what's right. And I think you and I, particularly with the people that we work with, we do have a very a view of what's the impact of our decisions. And the clients that we work with, how is this going to impact? And I don't know about you, but how have you found it with the conversations that you're having, the business owners that you're speaking with, that, are they still thinking about the impact? Are they still thinking about what's the right thing to do right now? Are they having trouble sort of trying to marry up what is right for their business and what the repercussions are?
Yeah, I think so. A lot, some of them are saying, oh, we'll wait to see what the government announcement was, which obviously it came. And it's, I think it's now just confused people even more, because it's kind of putting the responsibility on them. And so I think it makes it really hard, because these people are struggling anyway, sort of how they're going to pay their bills. They've got how am I going to get sort of money coming in? How are we going to change our business models? They've got enough decisions to make without having to also decide whether it's right or wrong, to sort of go back to work or use their common sense. So I think Yeah, so I think it's really difficult at the moment. I think most people obviously are just, I'll take the line of just being sensible, and listening to their clients and what their clients want as well. So yeah, and it is. I mean, I haven't seen a huge amount of examples yet because I haven't. I know that they only made the announcement on Sunday. So yeah, but I think there is a mixed message, and one of the things I wanted to bring out was they've introduced this color coded thing, which is like an alert system, which goes from red down to green. And apparently we're in orange, and yet the sign that's going out there is yellow and green. So it's quite mixed, and I think that sort of color psychology has an effect on you. And this is, again, I think when we get Lynn next week talking about brand and colors in your business, it's really important to choose the right colors. It's not what you like, it's about what your customers will like and what they'll react to as well.
And also that color is related to the mission, like the message that you want to say, like what you want to portray. That's how those colors are chosen. And I think you're right with that, with the change in the colouring of the sign. There's no real guidance there or support, I feel, for people to make perhaps a really good decision or judgment. Because at the moment you're being told one thing, you're being told to stay at home, but actually the colours are changing, and it's like it's encouraging you to go, oh, it's okay. And I think for me, it will be like we're always being asked to do like what's the right thing to do, and you and I have talked about this, like you're not somebody that will take you. We're quite honest. If we can't do something, I'd like to say, yeah, can't do it right now, or actually this isn't my area of expertise, or actually you'd be better off doing this.
No, absolutely, definitely. I mean, as long, while I sort of work with the client and and really much involve them in the process of things, so they can put their stamp on it just as much as I can help guide and advise them and recommend stuff. If there's someone I feel that's not the right fit for me, I won't work with them, even if I'm desperate, because it doesn't always go to a good place. It's just not the right ethical thing to do, I feel. And in the end, it doesn't always. One person, they're different. There's different expectations, and your passion's not going to go into the job and all that kind of thing. And quite often as well, and I've seen this a lot, people go, oh, yeah, I can do this, I can do that, yeah, absolutely, no problem, I can do everything, and then they fail to deliver. And that's something I always sort of say, hold them hands and be responsible, and just go, you know what, I don't know how to do that, but I can look into that. If I can't do it, I'll find someone who can, and I'll put you in touch with them. So I like
being innovative, isn't it? Like there are that things of say yes and learn to do it along the way, which I do feel that is right in some instances, but when something is quite crucial, it's your responsibility to go, am I really going to be of service here, or am I going to be a hindrance? I think you're right. Because the reason why I wanted to talk about that is because I think the biggest driver for a lot of people to rush out and do things, like I don't know if you've heard this, but if I hear the words, it's because of the I think the main driver is but what about the economy? And my view is, and that this might sound a bit drastic, but my view is you can't save an economy by trading lives. So unless you can work in a really safe environment and you can sort of help with the safety of your staff and your teams, then actually it doesn't really matter. You're not going to have a bit like, if your staff are affected and they're off sick, or they're potentially spreading this, and it's the lowest factor here is human life. It's not just money. This is a really unusual circumstance where this decision is going to affect other people's health, and I think when we look at all of that, my view is you can't go wrong by doing the right thing. So as long as you factor in what is the ultimate cost that this could impact, if you're making those decisions, I think that would be a really good thing to put in mind, is that you can't go wrong by doing the right thing. And
that's really good. Very good, simple, clear advice and message, really.
If only some of our leaders would follow that, huh?
Yeah.
Nice.
Maybe they need a consultation team. Maybe you should go and consult them.
Well, do you know what? I was just saying, again, it's so easy to be in your own bubble of what you think and what, you know, your friends and your community might think. I was on a different webinar. I try not to do too many at the moment. I'm getting webinar fatigue. And I was listening to Mark Ritson on the meetup, the marketing meetup group, Joe Glover, his group. And I thought, no, this one I'll listen to because I like him. He swears like a pirate. He's totally, like, he just says what he thinks. And I always love that. I swear like a pirate. So, hey. So he pretty much was in the mindset that where some of us might think that this might change consumer behaviour and psychology going forwards, his view is, if you look at history, consumers will just revert round back again. Like, you know, they'll do exactly the same thing. Like we're very cyclical. And so it'd be really interesting to hear if anyone else's views are different. Like, you know, do you feel like there could be positive change, or there could be that customers are going to come back and we're just waiting until we can go back to normal? But also as business owners, what are you going to do? Like, what is the change that you want to see, and how are you going to take those steps forward to lead that? I'd love to know some examples, I suppose.
Yeah, we've had a couple of comments here. I was just, sorry, you might have heard a bit of background noise because on my phone or something, it suddenly went into sound. I was like, oh, how did I turn the media? So we've got Nikki on here, and she says she watched a short video about the colours government using. Interesting. Also, one size does not fit all. One-man band, lifestyle business, small business with employees, all affected differently and have different needs, which is very true. So yeah, thanks for joining us, Nikki. She's put a link to a Facebook link, so we'll have a look at that and check that out.
I did see a really good, I don't know if Nikki it's the same one, but I did see a very good talk on the colours and the use of colours. So I'll see what Nikki puts in. Please do share that.
Yeah, it might be. That's what it might be. Yeah, it's a short video about the colours, so it might be that one. Thanks, Nikki, for sharing that. Yeah.
It's so true, isn't it? Everyone's got different circumstances, and it goes back to the whole, we're in the same storm, but we're all in different boats. But ultimately, I think there is, as business owners, we need to be our own leaders and take responsibility. And it's beyond just us as a business. It's beyond us as this economy. It is about other people's health as well. And it's that balance of what to do and how the right way of doing it so that it can work well together. Because obviously everyone wants to kickstart the economy again, but equally,
well, one of the things Nick is just saying is just they're easing us back in. She says if you get a chance to watch the short video, really good. Because there's lots of anxiety return to anything. The old normal is gone. Scared of new normal ? I think that's quite true, isn't it? People are quite anxious. It's a bit like when you haven't been in, I mean, I know I always got it when I worked in full-time employment, you know, when you're out of a job for a long time and then you have to go and start doing interviews to get a new job again. And I hated interviews. So that would really make me quite anxious going back to work. So I can imagine that, you know, there's a lot of people out there.
I think that actually brings us on. We've chatting about this before, and just really briefly, and maybe as a point of helping people with that anxiety, I think that, I mean, great news that the furlough scheme for some has been extended for another 4 months. And I think I had a comment when I shared the post that actually, you know, it just means that we have to hold our breath until August to find out what the true ramifications of all of this has been, like what businesses will do afterwards. And I think we've gone through that initial shock period of what the hell is happening, how we're coping. It might be worth, again, to be your own leader, to not wait for somebody to tell you what to do. Like, I always find that in business, in life, I get to a point that I get more anxiety waiting than actually going, but what can I do right now that's either going to help me and this circle? You know, what can I do in that first instance? And I think that, you know, you were saying that you've seen people doing like upskilling, trying to find different solutions. we will have more solutions, or if you can't find them right now, start talking to those that can help you find those options.
Exactly, and bring them out of you. I mean, you were saying that you talked to a client about that and sort of looking at their skills they have now and how they can cross purpose that over to do something else. So I think it's finding the right people, like, you know, like yourself, to kind of chat to, or, you know, getting a group of people jumping on a Zoom session, doing a bit of a brainstorming session, you know, and just see, is there other things that you can use those skills for and do something. I mean, I've seen some amazing stuff. I can't think off the top of my head, but people, you know, completely changing what they do, and some of them now actually going to their passions as well, which is fantastic, you know. One of my clients, Gerlin, who does a Cambridge food tour. Of course, that's all gone. That's all stopped. Yeah, so I'm hoping to get her on one of my live chats in a few weeks. But she's got an allotment near her. She's got a plot on that, and she's actually taken over the running of that now. And
wow.
She's really turned things around. She's got stuff sorted out with the council because they didn't have bins to take away waste. You know, there's a lot of young people joining, so it's full now, and they've got a waiting list. And you know, and she's loving it because it's still to do with food and growing, and she's got a plot there. So she said it's been, and she's done a lot of marketing and stuff as well of her own business. So she's using those skills now to do that for the allotment. So you know, I'm sure there's hundreds of great examples out there. We'll have to maybe do another session on that about innovation.
And if anyone knows of any examples, please share with us, because there's some positive switches as well. I think as well, the that whole idea of if you know what your true passion is, like I've just been trying to help people find their why a little bit more with clarity, and the how and the what. If you followed Simon Sinek's like Golden Circle, the how and the what can always change, but your why will be the same. And I think, like you just said with Gerla, is that, you know, yes, all right, the how and the what might have changed, but it's still resonating with her. And you can always, you just diversify your hows and your whats. You know, maybe she can do it back when things are back on track. It's still there. She's still got that knowledge. And I think having a bit more optimism. We were just talking to another friend, and I said, you know, there are certain industries, like businesses, unfortunately some will close. They can't wait out that waiting game. But I don't think, like, even comparing something to like a Blockbuster, like the whole the whole video industry, I don't think we're gonna, I can't think of an industry where it's completely obliterated. It's just a case of it will come back. Like, again, we had Helen last week for travel. It will come back. It's just how long can we wait, and who can wait it out, and what can you do in between. So it'll be really interesting to see. Yeah. Lots of ideas there. And if there's any questions,
yeah.
let us know.